Hey everyone, welcome back to The Process. Today I want to talk about the brain. I specifically want to talk about how the brain works to protect us from danger, whether that danger is real or perceived. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I have been moving through this experience this week, and it has been causing my brain to feel and react as though I am being chased by a lion. And it has been very overwhelming and at times frustrating, but that's why I want to talk about it. It is easy, so easy to get angry with yourself. And I guess I should just speak for myself. It is easy for me to get angry with myself or get frustrated at the fact that my brain is sending me these signals, that is sending me into some sort of a very anxious state. This is something that I have been learning over the past few years, but especially in the past few months since I started posting on social media, that I have to be able to accept all of these different parts of me and recognize that they're going to come to the party, they're going to show up. And how can I be more open and receptive to whatever it is that my brain is trying to say to me instead of pushing it away, pretending that it doesn't exist, because that doesn't help me either. So let's dive in. And again, I'm just going to talk about whatever comes up today because this has been the past few days. Today is a Thursday. The past few days have been very much a roller coaster as I have been going back and forth between battling this and accepting this. And so it is important to talk about. Right now, I am about to, at the time of recording this, I'm about to do a masterclass. And I am very excited about doing this. Last week, I went to an event about public speaking, and it gave me a lot of inspiration to start talking about my messaging more and start talking in other ways for people to be able to learn the things that I have learned. So I have this podcast, of course, and I've got my Instagram content, but I'm now going to be running these master classes, and the first one is happening tomorrow. So by the time this is published, it will have already happened. But it's been very exciting to put this together and to think about the different things that I want to teach, how it's come up for me, how I've learned it, all of these things. But at the same time that this has come up, there has been this other voice that's come up too. This voice of, what are you doing? Are you sure you know what you're talking about? You're an idiot. No one's going to listen to you. Why do you think that this is relevant? Just anything. My brain was just throwing absolutely anything it could at me to try to get me to come back to the way that I previously was, which was someone who didn't speak up when I had ideas, who didn't share what I was thinking or share my opinions, who would put off putting anything out publicly unless I knew it was absolutely perfect and I had put so much preparation and planning into every single element of it. I have done several speaking events before up until this point. So it's not that I've never done it, but the difference is that I'm not doing it as an employee. I'm not doing it as someone that's part of a group that's been asked to present as a part of the rotation. This is fully me initiating it and preparing it and presenting it. And the crazy part was that I set the date before I even really knew what it was that I was going to talk about, because I am setting this intention of I will consistently take action and I will figure it out, because I know that action is going to create clarity. And I talk about that all the time on this podcast. It is one of my absolute core beliefs because I have seen how it plays out time and time again. So I know that this is no different. But in doing this action and in setting up this masterclass, my brain has been having these moments of, oh my gosh, this is so scary and I don't feel safe and I don't know how this is going to go. And we don't have control over this situation. And growing up, control was everything for me. It was how I felt safe, was by only doing the things that I knew that I was good at, only doing them in a way that felt familiar and safe for me, and never, ever stepping outside of that. or very rarely stepping outside of that. But this is very much stepping outside of that. And I felt a lot of moments of big excitement this week that I'm doing it, a lot of pride. I actually said to one of my friends a couple of days ago that I feel like a younger version of myself, as well as a future version of myself, are both looking at me right now, feeling so proud of what it is that I'm doing. The younger version of me is going, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that we are actually talking and sharing our thoughts openly and doing it without having a plan, without having a script or an outline, even to pull from. You're just letting yourself talk and show up and be. What? The younger version of me would never have been able to do that. And that was something that held me back for so many years. Even though I was told all the time how smart I was, even though I was told all the time that I had a way with words, I was so scared of making a mistake that to me it felt safer to do absolutely nothing, to stay in the background, to stay in the shadows and let other people talk, let other people share their opinions. I remember there'd be times where someone would say something that was somewhat similar to maybe what I was going to say, and that to me reaffirmed that okay, I don't need to say it because they've basically already said it, or I would say, well, no one said it, so that means that it's probably not even important or interesting to share, so I won't say anything. So younger version of me is looking at me right now going, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that you are taking these steps. What is happening? How are you doing this? And then there's also a future version of me that's looking back, going, yes, these are the foundational steps. This is the first things that you need to do in order to get to where you will be in 3 to 5 years from now and in 10 years from now. It all starts here by doing these messy first initial reps, being okay with it not being polished or perfect. Who cares? Show up and obviously put your best foot forward, but let go of the pressure of it needing to be a certain way in order to be good enough to exist in the world. Because that same thinking was what stopped me up until this point of creating this podcast. So now I'm building on that momentum and I'm taking as many actions as I can to show my brain that it's actually safe to take action. And yes, there is risk involved, but the risk of taking action is actually smaller than the risk of regret if I didn't take any action and I sat there and waited and hoped that maybe one day I suddenly was going to feel incredibly confident and I'd have all the skills and I'd just be able to do it without making any mistakes ever. I had to let go of that belief because obviously that's not true. And that's not in any way anyone's reality. You only learn through the mistakes that you make. If you're constantly doing everything perfectly, well, that means you're coming at it from a lens of, I already know how to do this, so I know I'm not going to make any mistakes, which means that you're not actually growing. It means that you're staying at whatever level you're currently at because that's what feels safe to you. And our brains are meant to do that. It's not about, and again, this is what I said earlier, it's not about getting mad at yourself. That's actually counterproductive. If you have that thought of, oh no, I don't know if I can do this. This is scary. I don't know if it's going to work out. What if this is embarrassing? What if I fail? What if the masterclass is a complete bust and nobody comes or whatever, the things that my brain had been telling me. If I get mad at myself and go, oh, stop thinking that. You're not supposed to think that. You're supposed to think like this. That in itself is resistance. That is me not allowing myself to feel the feelings that I need to feel. That's an important element of it. Those feelings are there for a reason because my brain is trying to protect me. Everything that you do that your brain is pushing you to do is a way for it to feel safe. It only can do what it knows how to do. So the actions that you've taken up until this point, of course your brain's going to go back to that and default to that because that's what it knows. And that's okay. So when you start taking different actions, and again, I'll speak for myself, when I started taking different actions, these messages are coming up because it's really scary. And instead of getting frustrated, I'm honestly, either sitting down or sometimes I've had to stand up because I've been lying in bed feeling really anxious. And so I'm standing up and moving my body. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I hear you. I hear that you're feeling really scared right now. That makes sense because this is new and we haven't done much of this yet publicly. So yeah, it's probably there's going to be some mistakes that happen and it's not going to go perfectly. And that's okay. I've got this. Thank you for keeping me safe. But I have got this. I am going to take care of us now. I am capable of doing this and I am going to be okay. The more that I take that stance, even as I'm saying it out loud right now, I feel my nervous system relax. Like my brain is going, oh, okay, we're not being chased by a lion. There was just this small, or, it could be a big new action that we're taking that is different, but that's okay. And I'm learning that this is all part of it. This is how you build that ability to lean into those moments and lean into those emotions. Because the more that you actually do that, the more that you get to build a relationship with you, with all the different parts of you. That version of you that has existed for that period of time that told you not to take the risk or not to post the thing or not to quit your job or speak up to your boss or advocate for your needs, that's all coming from a place of wanting to keep you safe. And it worked. Your brain did what it needed to do. Awesome. That's great information that you were able to keep yourself safe. But if you are stepping into doing something different, if you are quitting the job that you've been wanting to quit for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, if you are posting online for the first time when you have been wanting to for ages, but you've been too scared, if you are saying no to this friend that maybe always pushes the boundaries and you're tired of it and you're finally standing up for yourself after years of being pushed over by this person, all of those actions are going to come with this dichotomy of feeling really proud of yourself for finally backing yourself to do the thing. And at the exact same time, your brain is going to freak the heck out because it is very uncomfortable and it is very unfamiliar. And you're probably going to have thoughts like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done that. We should have just stayed in this job. We shouldn't have said anything to that friend. I shouldn't have posted that. No one's going to like it. It's going to fail. That is because your brain is doing what it needs to do. It is doing what it is programmed to do. Nothing wrong is happening. It is that we are conditioned and our brains have learned through millennia that we need to keep ourselves safe. We need to do whatever we need to do to survive, not to grow. Our brains don't care about growth, about pushing ourselves to new realms and challenging ourselves. No. At the end of the day, our brain cares about survival. And the way to survive is to be safe. And the way to be safe is to do the things that you have always done up until this point. The more that I really lean into understanding that it is just a wiring of the human mind, the more empathy that I can have for myself to say, okay, actually, it makes sense that you're feeling really anxious right now because, yeah, we have been pushing the boundaries quite a bit for our own sense of capacity and what we're capable of. That makes sense. Okay, so what can I do to support myself right now? How can I bring some sense of safety back in while also continuing to do the thing, to go after what it is that I want and to not come back to playing small? Because that temptation's always going to be there because your brain, that voice is very, very convincing. And it doesn't sound menacing or horrible. It actually sounds very rational. It sounds very logical to think, well, this is causing me a lot of anxiety and therefore I probably shouldn't do it. I should probably go back to what I was doing before and allowing this friend and just kind of continuing the friendship and it'll be okay. It'll be fine. Convincing yourself that it's not that big of a deal because that is going to keep you safe, but it's going to bring you back to what you were doing before. And it's not going to allow you to keep growing beyond it. it's going to sound like it is absolutely the right thing to do. And that's what I've noticed this week is that my brain's like, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing this yet and we should wait until we have more people that we can talk to because then you're going to be able to have a bigger impact. Or maybe we need to take a break from this because we need to do more studying and we need to learn a bunch more stuff so that when we talk, we're going to have more information to share. It sounds very convincing. And again, as I say that out loud, my brain's like, yes, come on, come back to what you were doing earlier. But I know that voice is from a place of trying to keep me safe. And I can be safe and also grow if I can make space for those parts of me and if I can accept those parts of me. I think it is such a big reframe and it's not easy to do. It's something that I have been learning over a few years and that I have really solidified in the last, I would say, month, honestly, because the more that I'm taking these actions, the more that I have to, I have to show up for myself because otherwise I would probably just be in the corner of this room in a puddle, crying and shaking on the ground, just not coping with the level of anxiety. And I think it's important to share that because I think a lot of us feel, and maybe more so as women, but maybe just in general, I would say, if you are doing something that is unfamiliar and that maybe if you look around you, not a lot of people in your current circle are doing, it can feel very isolating. And then when you have those big emotions, it can feel really scary if you don't know how to support yourself through it. And to be clear, most of us have not learned how to support ourselves through it. I have had years of working with a therapist, both on my own and as a couple with my husband. I've also worked with coaches. I have been in different communities where I have seen other people that are doing this, that have modeled these techniques and this self-talk and all of these things around me that has helped me to solidify these understandings for myself. But if you don't have that, if you haven't had that, it can be incredibly scary to have this massive buildup of anxiety. You finally do the thing and you're taking the risk and you're standing up for yourself. You feel so proud. And then almost instantaneously, you go from feeling really good to dropping into this pit of despair almost of what am I doing? And now there's so much unknown ahead of me. And how am I going to get through all this? And what if I don't find the answers? And what if I mess it up? And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It could go on for ages. And without these tools to be able to support yourself and accept those parts of you, it can be very overwhelming. So that's why I want to share my own experience of going through it. So hopefully, if any of this resonates for you, you can know that you're not in it alone and that it is actually a very normal part of this process of growth. We cannot grow without the discomfort and without this almost tug of war of your brain going from, well, we want to step into this new identity because we know that there are bigger opportunities waiting for us on the other side of working through this fear. But then on the other side going, but that is incredibly uncomfortable. And I don't know if I can do it. And maybe I need to just come back to what I was doing before because I know what that looks like. I already know what my life looks like if I stay in that bubble, and maybe that's better. So where I have found myself and how I have been supporting myself to push more towards the side of continuing to push through the fear is the fact that actually knowing everything about this previous version of me and knowing what that life looks like, I know that that's not what I want. And so if I do keep taking the same actions, if I do keep allowing people to walk all over me, if I do stay in the job that I hate, if I do put off starting the project or putting myself out there because of the fear, I'm going to get the same outcome that I've had for all these years. The same 12 months will go by and I'll be in the exact same spot, complaining about the same things, feeling the same things that I was here. And I already know that I don't like that. So to me, the only other option is to break out of that bubble and to start doing things differently and to start trying and guessing and exploring. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Exploring these things, knowing that with that new path that I'm taking, there is so much more that I don't know. And that feels very, very scary, but it's a different kind of scary than staying in the bubble. This is a known fear over here in this bubble, whereas stepping into this new reality is much more unknown. But to me, that's the area, that's the direction that I want to push in, because I know that the payoff of that is going to be much bigger in the long run if I trust myself to just keep taking action and going for it, and then allowing myself to have those feelings as they come up, accept them, and let them just be there. They can be there, but they don't have to drive the bus. They can sit in the back seat. They can raise their hand sometimes and maybe put some insights in, and maybe some of them I'm going to listen to and take on, and some of them I'm going to go, thank you for that. But again, I've got this. I'm going to support us and we're going to get through this, because we know that on the other side of sitting through all this fear is really exciting opportunities. And also, I mean, I guess it's about the opportunities, but it's also about knowing that I am becoming the version of me that I know I am capable of becoming, and that I know that that future version of me is looking back and going, yep, I'm right here. You're moving towards me. You are coming towards me at your own pace, and you're going to get there as long as you keep taking action, learning from what it is that you're doing, listening to these voices that come up, making space for them, but then ultimately letting them just sit and keep moving anyway. So that is all I have for you guys today. I would love to hear from you if any of this resonated, if you have been stepping through some of this fear yourself. It is an ongoing journey. I can look back on my life and I can see so many moments where I did this, where I was terrified when I first moved across the world to be an au pair, when I then moved across the world again to be with my now husband, when I started and did my master's degree, when I left my first job, when I started my first business, and now doing all of this stuff online, starting this podcast, asking people to be guests on my podcast, posting on social media, getting coaching clients, all of it. I can see there's been consistent moments in my life where I have stepped outside of that bubble. It has been absolutely terrifying. I've had moments of going, maybe this is a mistake and I shouldn't do this and I should go back to what I was doing before. But every single time, the opportunities that came on the other side of it were absolutely incredible. And so I've got a lot of evidence now that if I continue doing it, it's going to continue yielding bigger and better results for me, results that I can't even fathom right now, but I just have to trust the process. So, like I said, if any of that resonates with you, I would love to hear from you either through Instagram, on LinkedIn, or you can comment on this YouTube video as well. Thank you guys so much, every single one of you. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen and to come along the journey, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.